Hi, everybody. Welcome to this week's intuitive tapping break. I am just making sure that this is going to be working, and then we were going to get jumping in. Today's topic, I think, is really important. Perfect, it's working, yay. So today's topic is really important, which is all about giving yourself credit for where you are today. And I am really going to point us and steer us and guide us into the direction of what is aligned, what is good in our life, where's the sweet spots that we are really happy with our lives, right? So I really do think that, especially when it comes to motherhood, we can get lost in the misery of motherhood. We can get really lost and swept up in that relatable resonance of the misery of motherhood. And I really would like to start inviting us into conversations where we acknowledge that, yes, there is misery to motherhood, there is struggles, there is hardships, there's a lot of pain, there's a lot of growing pains, right? But there's a lot of stress and anxiety that comes along with it, for sure. But that is always going to be there. We need to start sourcing and cultivating and generating, looking and seeing more, being invited to look more to what is actually working out for us. Because if we don't, okay, sorry, distraction. Because if we don't start looking for those things for ourselves, nobody else is going to, and this is the thing here. You can be told by people around you that you're doing a great job, that you're an amazing person, you're an amazing mom, you got that under wraps, you are so good with that, you're so organized, you're so sweet, you're so kind, whatever it might be, you're really good in your relationships. Like, you can have people tell you those things over and over and over again. But where it really counts is, do you actually believe it? And the reason and the thing that's going to help you understand and believe it more and more is you actually seeing it and you actually acknowledging it. And I think the first round that we're going to do today, I've got a couple cards here that we're going to pull. But the first round we're going to talk about today is where we might feel guilty for, quote unquote, tooting our own horn, where we might feel like we're bragging, where we might feel like we are, sure, we're doing better than most, but we got to keep that shit under wraps. We can't talk about that openly. We can't be proud of ourselves in some way, shape, or form, because other people around us don't necessarily see that. And it's easier to try to be relatable, it's easier to try to fit in and find, people. I don't know. Yeah, it's just easier to try to fit in sometimes when you are on that slippery slope of the misery of motherhood, right? Like, and of course, it's all there. It's all there. And especially with working with one-on-one clients, I do find that we want something more. We want something greater, but we are stuck in, trying to heal or trying to work through the things that are holding us back. And sometimes it's just a matter of saying, you know what, yeah, that's holding me back, but you know what, and then I doubt myself sometimes, but I'm still going to do what it is that I need to do anyway. And this happened to me personally in a recent session that I had space held for myself. And so that was one of the things that I picked up on for myself, and that me and this other woman were relating about was, it's easy to try to find stuff to fix for ourselves, about where we're at. And what we need to do is actually just go for what it is that we want and be happy and proud and feel that fulfillment, even though there's doubt, even though maybe there's a lack of belief. But as you start to move in that direction of fulfillment for yourself, and those little beliefs or those little things come up, you can decide, do I need to push through this? Is this just a habit? Is this residual energy that I just really don't need to pay attention to? Or is this something that is actually needing my attention? Is this something for me to work through more? And I think we're just going to tap on a lot of that stuff today. So if you are new to this channel, thank you for being here. Welcome. My name is Megan Basita. I'm an energy management mentor, an EFT practitioner. I'm a meditation teacher, and I just love all things motherhood and spirituality, right? And intuition and personal growth. So if that is what is in for you, what you're into too, we should be friends. Make sure you subscribe and even share if you'd like, and feel free absolutely to comment below, even on the replay. I always love to hear feedback from people who are seeing this, whether you are been here before, this ain't your first rodeo, or whether you are brand new to the channel. So anyway, let's get into some tapping. And today we're going to use this deck of cards called Listen Bitch. I think it's kind of fun and sassy. But so for our first round, I'm going to pick a card, and it's going to be around, this is why it's called an intuitive tapping break. It's going to be around that guilt or fear, or the resistance that we experience because we don't want to, like I said, brag or toot our own horn, or be that one that's like, nobody likes a happy person, or a Pollyanna, or whatever it is that's like, so here we go. This is what we're going to start with. Your wildest dreams deserve a chance. I love this. I love, love, love this. So listen, bitch, your wildest dreams deserve a chance. Okay, so let's get some tapping in here. We're going to take a nice gentle breath, start tapping on the side of the hand here. And we'll say, even though I tend to think of what's not going right, to think about what is not going well. I think a lot about what I'm lacking, and that's okay. This has been something that I've been taught, and I think I'm ready to change this up a little bit. But I love and accept the part of me that's still stuck in this. Even though I have found that it's easier to be relatable, it's easier to be accepted, and it's safer if I focus on what I'm lacking, what's not going right, or what I need to better in my life. And I love and accept this part of me anyway. And as I begin to notice things, as I become more open to focusing on what I have, to focus on my appreciations, and to focus on what's going right for me, I want to hold space for the part of me that's still hesitant, that still has resistance, and give that a voice today. All right, so we're going to move to the top of the head now and say, I have found that it's been easier, eyebrow point, to participate in the misery, side of the eye, in the misery of motherhood, underneath the eye, to focus on what I'm lacking, underneath the nose, to focus on what's not going right, underneath the mouth, to focus on all the things that I still need to heal, collarbone point, to focus on all of the things that I think are holding me back, underneath the arms, in order to fit in, underneath the chest, in order to be accepted, wrist points, and in order to be emotionally safe. Top of the head. I can't go around bragging. Eyebrow point. About what's good in my life. Side of the eye. About how well everything is. Underneath the eye. About how grateful and appreciative I am. Underneath the nose. Even though things are going shitty sometimes. Underneath the mouth. I should focus on the shitty things. Collarbone point. I should focus on the stress and anxiety. Underneath the arms. I should focus on the things that need to be healed. Underneath the chest, in order to fit into the world that I'm in right now. Wrist points. I've been taught to sit in the shit. Top of the head. I have been taught to not brag. Eyebrow point. To not toot my own horn. Side of the eye. I've been taught not to be proud of where I am and who I am. Underneath the eye, especially in motherhood. Underneath the nose, where that badge of busyness. Underneath the mouth, that badge of stress and anxiety. Collarbone point, that badge of misery and chaos. Underneath the arms, tends to be the determining factor. Underneath the chest, of how accepted you are. Wrist points, and the current standards of what it means to be a good mom. Top of the head. I forgive myself for believing that misery is the way. Eyebrow point. I forgive myself for not being proud of my good moments. Side of the eye. I forgive myself for not being happy. Underneath the eye. For not being grateful. Underneath the nose. I forgive myself for focusing on the lack and the scarcity. Underneath the mouth. For focusing on the misery of motherhood. Collarbone point. Today I am choosing. Underneath the arms. To honor and acknowledge the hardships that I'm facing. Underneath the chest. To not try to feel, to not force toxic positivity. Wrist points. But to really lean into my wildest dreams. Top of the head. To give my brain the job. Eyebrow point. Of seeing where things are working out. Side of the eye. And feeling more into that today. All right, so take a moment there to just breathe into that. So take a nice sip of water if you need. If you experienced any yawning or any like stomach churning, watery eyes or crying, And yes, there's a difference. Any kind of like fidgeting, any kind of like angsty energy, that's okay. Allow that to move. That means that subconsciously your nervous system is ready to release something. It's starting to feel safer in bringing these different ideas to the table, and it's showing you that you are holding space for the part of you that's still going to go through stress and hardships and struggles, but it's also showing you that that's not the only way, that's not the only thing to focus on. And so we want to give our dreams, we want to give our what we're grateful for, what we're appreciative of, what we're proud of in our lives. We want to give that a chance, right? And so really taking that into consideration, like noticing where is there any guilt? Is there any shame? Is there any outcastiness energy that you feel when you start to share with people that things are going actually pretty good? Kids are fine. Yes, shit hits the fan every once in a while or, on a regular basis, but the bounce back rate is so much quicker. And you're not sitting and stewing and stirring in all of the struggle, that there is actually, there is that, and we're not denying that, but there's also really an acknowledgement that what we focus on grows, right? So what we think about, we bring about. And so if we're constantly thinking about the stress, the anxiety, the lack, the scarcity, all of those things, then that's what we're going to draw more into our life. And so especially with kids, and I want to take a moment right now, depending on where you are in your life. I was thinking about this the other day, and this is part of my personal practice. The other day, I put my kids to bed, and it can be tricky. It can be a bit of a fight every once in a while. They're 8 and 10 years old, but my husband works shift work. And so when he's away, things get a little loopy, things get a little chaotic. It used to be pretty significant with the kids, especially when, like, on the first or second night that he's away. And so I was just like, put the kids to bed, even up until like a couple of months ago, they would get a little bit angsty, they get a little bit loopy, and it's just like, oh, mom's here, whatever, right? We got that mom energy sometimes. And so just really I took a moment for myself, and I was like, this is getting easier. Things are getting better. We are making progress. I'm really proud of how I'm able to hold space for my kids when they are getting loopy and crazy and like getting frantic and scattered and blah, 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 the things that kids do, right? They are kids. They do these things, right? So I am proud of myself for how have been able to hold space for that, how I've been able to be present and patient and not take things so personally when shit does hit the fan. And so I think that's a huge thing. And I remember when my kids were babies and little toddlers, and it's just like, some days were so fucking hard. And then now some days are still so fucking hard. And I know that we're going to be coming into like teenage years soon, and then it's going to be really fucking hard. But I choose to believe that things are evening out, things are happening, like things are going at a better pace, things are working out now. And I'm not, yeah, again, there's always this disclaimer energy of like, well, for now, and that's always there for sure, for now, whatever, but right now it's going hella good. So I'm not going to put anything else on that, right? So let's do one more round of tapping. And so giving yourself credit, right? So really giving yourself credit. Okay, so this was, you are worthy of everything good in this life. Everything. Perfect. This is exactly what we needed. So listen, you are worthy of everything good in your life. Everything, right? And there's a quote that I really love that says, and I cannot remember the woman's name. It's a long name. It's kind of a different name, but it says, "You're worthy of being in the room, even if you didn't open the door." And so I really want to take a moment here and do a tapping round on, you chose to do things a certain way. You chose to show up a certain way. You chose to receive and accept things in a certain way that got you to everything good in your life right now, right? So you and I struggle with this. And so when I say you, I mean me too, is some things I feel like were just handed to me. They were just given to me. They were just put in my lap. There was things like passively just come into my life. I mean, this house, for instance, was something that we had put a lot of time and energy and work into getting for ourselves. It was over a year, about a year maybe. It was probably over a year actually in the making to get this house so that we could live here. And the whole process, and there I catch myself sometimes. Somebody recently just said, well, you manifested this great house. I was like, well, no, I didn't have anything to do with that. Yes, did. I held space for it, and I worked. Like, I actually went back and I kind of retraced the steps of, like, we really, really wanted it. We wanted it so bad. We held it so tight, and we did everything that we could do, and we, opened space for whatever else that needed to come in order to be able to get this house, and it didn't work out. We still wanted this so bad, but we had to go a different direction for a little bit. We had to, like, relieve the pressure from this house, from us wanting this house, my husband and I. And then we went in a different way, and we completely let it go. And then it came into, we had that, we'll find something better. We'll find it's this or something better, right? So, and we didn't sit down and, like, go through a manifestation process. We didn't sit down and, like, go through step by step by step of, like, this is what we need to do, and this is how we need to go about doing it, and this is when we need to let go, and this is when we need to, like, let ask in for divine guidance, blah blah blah. We didn't do any of that shit. We just went through the process as naturally as we could. We had struggles with it. We got pissed off. We got upset. We got sad. Like, we grieved because we didn't think we were going to get the house, and then we got the house, and it happened like that. So you are worthy of everything good in this life, everything. And you do create the atmosphere in accordance, or in, you create the atmosphere, the sphere in which you are able to pull things into your life for you. And you have to choose to be receiving. You have to choose to be accepting. You have to choose to believe that that is something that you still want. So I really want to anchor that in. So give yourself credit. So even if it's passively come to you, even if it was just kind of like, it just happened to work out so perfectly and flawlessly, like me being a stay-at-home mom, and how that came to be in the very beginning. It was a mutual decision. We just happened to do it, and that's just still exactly what works perfectly for us. And sometimes I think, well, I had no part in that, but I made the decision, and then I worked my ass off to make the choice again and again and again and again. I mean, my kids are in school now. I could have chosen to go back to work at any time. I could have. And this is exactly the normal thing to do. But it just kept on happening, that things were coming up that I just couldn't go back to work, or it wouldn't be suitable for our family dynamics. And then I keep on having, me and my husband have a very good conversation about this every once in a while, about, is it beneficial for me to go back to work as a 9 to 5 or a corporate job or something? And now, no, because I want to pursue my business. So it just, we make choices, and we have to be able, like, the part that we really need to anchor into is not so much that what we do, but it's that we are able to receive, it's that we're able to accept, and it's that we're able to believe. And those things perpetuate the actions. They give us the actions. They bring us the opportunities for us to say, yes, I will receive that. Yes, I will accept that. Yes, I believe that this is something that is in our best interest, and to go from there. So let's go one more time on the side of the hand, my little tirade, and say, even though sometimes it feels like I have no part or no role in it all, I didn't bring anything into my life. I had no control over it. And so I don't feel I deserve the credit. I love and accept this part of me anyway. And I'm starting to see that this isn't true. Even though part of me thinks that things have been handed to me, that things have come into my experience passively, that it's just the way that it worked out. And so I feel like I don't deserve the credit. And I love and accept this part of me anyway, because I'm realizing that that's not true. And even though I still have this part of me that doesn't quite want to toot my own horn, be proud of where I am and who I am, or give myself credit, that's okay. I'm here for this work. And I love and accept myself deeply and completely anyway. Perfect. So we're going to go to the top of the head now and say, things may seem to happen seamlessly. Eyebrow point. I don't know when I made the decision to make these things happen. Side of the eye. I didn't know that my choice back then was going to lead to this now. Underneath the eye. How was I to know that those decisions were going to impact me now? Underneath the nose. I wasn't aware. Underneath the mouth. I wasn't really paying attention. Collarbone point. Maybe I wasn't really even planning ahead. Underneath the arms. So I can't really take credit for that. Underneath the choice or chest. Sorry, it just happened. Wrist points, and I'm ready to take ownership today. Top of the head. That while I maybe didn't do anything specifically or directly, eyebrow point, that's related to what I have today. Side of the eye, to all of the good that I have in my life right now. Underneath the eye. But I did choose. Underneath the nose. I chose this or that. Underneath the mouth. I chose left or right. Collarbone point. I moved through a process. Underneath the arms that strengthened my beliefs. Underneath the chest, I moved through an unintentional process. Wrist points that brought me to where I am today. Top of the head. It's safe for me to give myself credit. Eyebrow point. I give myself permission to give myself credit. Side of the eye, because I had to choose. Underneath the eye, one way or another. Underneath the nose, to believe in myself. Underneath the mouth, to believe I was worthy and deserving. Collarbone point, to choose to accept and receive. Underneath the arms, in order to get me to where I am today. Underneath the chest. So today I give myself full permission. Wrist points, to honor that things may be still chaotic and stressed. Top of the head, that I could still have some work to do to better my life. eyebrow point. But I'm goddamn proud of where I am today. Decided, yeah, I'm goddamn proud of who I've become. And I'm goddamn proud of where I'm going. Underneath the nose. And I give myself permission to feel this today. All right. So sorry, not sorry for the cussing and swearing. I do that. But yeah, take a moment, take a breath, take a drink. See how that lands with you. And I think that the last few where I was like, you can have both and, right? There's never going to be a perfect balance of either or, but there is the choice to see things differently. There's the choice to believe, there's the choice to receive and accept, right? So keeping that in mind with anything that comes up, you know, your biggest job, I think, and the biggest job that we can do, especially as moms, is to model this and to lead by example. And that, yes, we need to do hard things sometimes. Sometimes we do have to do things that, you know, we have to compromise. We have to come into, you know, a middle ground or something sometimes, especially if we have a spouse or we are in, like, have relationships in our lives, of course, right? So we do have to meet others and other experiences halfway sometimes. We can't just have everything go the way that we want it to go. There is compromise, there's negotiation, right? There's middle ground to be had. But we don't have to compromise our integrity. We don't have to compromise the gifts that we bring to the table. We don't have to compromise what we want and what is in alignment for us. We can have all of those things together, and we can give those things a friggin' chance. We can give that alignment a chance. We can give our wildest dreams a chance. And we are worthy of everything that is good in our life and everything, because we had to be open, that channel, that pathway, that connection to us that brought those things into our lives, that had to be open. And we can only open and close those things, right? Nobody else can do that for us. So yes, give yourself some goddamn credit. Give yourself some credit. Hold space for yourself today. Yes, there's a lot of things that, you know, my house is not in perfect order right now. There's dishes. I need to vacuum. You know, my business isn't perfect. I'm still learning and growing. My relationships are going well right now, but there's always room for growth. There's always room for expansion, right? There's always room to better things, but give yourself a moment today to honor and give yourself credit for where you're at. Because the more you practice honoring and giving yourself presence, giving yourself patience, giving yourself like acknowledgement and credit for where you're at, and really it's like a gratitude practice basically, right? Like be grateful and be appreciative of where you are, but your part that you played in having these things and having these experiences and having these people in your life, you played a big part in that. You played a huge part in that. And so don't diminish or don't deflect that part of you that deserves credit. Because if you give yourself more credit, you're going to rise to the occasion. You're going to be like, oh, well, if I could do this and I wasn't really intentional about this, like if I got really intentional about it and I actually like paid attention and I was really proud of where I was going, like what could you do then? I often give this analogy of like, as moms, we take on so much and we juggle so many things, and we do it all to kind of cater to other people or to other experiences, right? But and that usually it can tend to draining our time and energy and our, you know, life force sometimes, and to give into others and to other things. But if we took, you know, dedicated amount of time to really fulfill ourselves from within, to really build and cultivate and generate that fulfillment or that fulfillment from within ourselves, to fill ourselves up so that we have enough energy, so that we have enough time, patience, presence, whatever it might be that we want to give to others, that we will have that times 10 if we give to ourselves first. If we prioritize ourselves, what we can prioritize after we prioritize ourselves is going to explode and expand. And everybody's going to be happy. Everybody's going to be happy and everybody's going to benefit. So really keeping that in mind today. I hope this was helpful for you today. Let's pull, yeah. Oh, I love this. Okay, so one last little card as we say goodbye today. Your opinions aren't tattoos. You can change them at any time. And I think this is really amazing because we do have a lot of opinions that even aren't ours. You know, we observe and absorb so much as mothers, as kids, like whatever, like throughout our whole entire life. We're constantly having information pushed into our face. And so we have opinions, we form opinions, and we form, you know, perceptions about things. Now, those aren't tattoos. You don't have to be married to those things, right? You can change them at any time. So if this kind of pushed up against some beliefs, if it pushed up against some opinions or perspectives for you about how things are for you right now, that's okay. So how you feel, what you've been doing, it's all valid. I mean, there is nothing, everything has a purpose, right? So it's just that as your awareness expands and grows, then you will grow and expand in awareness as well. And so that's when, you know, if you are struggling with, you know, shifting or changing opinions because they are not supporting you anymore, or you do find that certain things are not, yeah, they're just not supporting you anymore and you like to shift and change them, and you need some assistance with that, I offer one-on-one EFT coaching sessions, lots of different things. So progress moon readings, energy management sessions, and one-on-one EFT coaching. So if any of that is interesting for you or you're curious about any of that, check the description. I'll have links to all of those things, as well as my latest bundle, tapping bundle. It's never, you know, there's only anybody who sees this, it's like never before public, never before publicly known. I can't even talk. It's never been public, these tapping bundles, these tapping sessions, and it's all for introverted moms. So this is a big thing for me. I am an introverted person at heart for my life. I have been, and I have had to choose, and I've had to learn, and I've had to grow, and how to present myself in a different way while maintaining that integral part of me, because I do think it is a superpower to be introverted to some degree. So that is a tapping bundle for introverted moms. The link will be down here as well. And you will also get a free month in my energy-led living, no, my energy-led mompreneur membership. That's a mouthful. So if you want kind of like a 2-in-1, there's that tapping bundle with the 1 month free access to the membership there. So all of the information below. I hope you have an amazing rest of your week. We'll see you next week for another intuitive tapping break. Until then, have an amazing rest of your week. Bye.